The one thing that 2020 has done is remind all of us of the genuinely the speed and the complexity at which people are changing and the need to understand them and to not assume anything of people. Hi, I'm Chrissie Hanson. I'm the Global Chief Strategy Officer for OMD.
I'm Michael Mothner. I'm the founder and CEO of Wpromote.
Today, we're going to be discussing how the idea of leading with customer insights has shifted under recent times from an agency perspective.
We find that a lot of brands, the reason that they think that people like their products is different from what customers actually think. So I think we try to look at kind of the 360-degree view and say, where are these data points? And then how do I create the actual systems to listen?
It feels a little bit like the search for insight needles in a data haystack, right? So how do you glean the things that are most relevant and specific to a client?
The challenge is there's too much data and too few insights in that data. And so the needle in the haystack is an excellent metaphor for it. I think we find our clients feel like they're drowning in the data, right? I think everyone intuitively agrees that customer centricity and customer first and customer insights would be a good way to drive marketing decisions and budgeting and strategy and so forth. A lot of times there's a huge separation between that idea of customer insights and then actually using that as this sort of leading indicator, as the data points that actually are driving decision making. So we see that a lot of the biggest hurdles are really, they're significant and they're early on and they're organizational and systemic. The why, I think everyone really gets, which is, hey, if we can think more about what our customers would benefit from, if we can understand their journey and we can align creative and messaging to them with the right place, it will resonate stronger. It will feel more custom for them. It will feel personalized. We will reach the right people at the right time.
When COVID started to have a massive impact, we developed something called the Fast Start Dashboard, which is a dashboard with over 30 different data sources. I think there's something like 1.5 million data points, and there are 100,000 being added every week. And what that contains is a combination of epidemiology, media inflation, pricing, media behavior, consumer sentiment, and that ability to ingest that data, but also help us really clearly connect to our planning process, meant that our teams had a consistent way of looking at the right set of data points and from there looking at the actions. So that is how we have approached navigating through 2020 and the complexities within it, and doing that in a way that is consistent and coherent, but allowing account teams and markets to adapt and edit and build in additional data sources as needed.
The assumptions that you brought into 2020 may not be the right data. And it may be that a customer acquired in 2020 is a different type of customer. Good data is accurate data, it's relevant data, and it's not diluted data. Bad data would be sort of the opposite of all of that. We need to not take the assumptions that we had in this different world and just roll them forward.
100%. I mean, I think one of the things that everyone had to get really comfortable with was I have to act with perhaps 40 or 50% of the available information I would normally have confidence in, right? So that's kind of number one, your own levels of risk and comfort, and convey that to a client and have them go, okay, I'm going to get equally comfortable with this.
I would rather gain insights and create models and hypotheses and outcomes with imperfect data than not at all, especially with how quickly things are moving. And so accepting that we're going to make decisions, budget adjustments and creative decisions, and maybe not feel 100% about everything is better than not making those decisions.
And then the other area is, how often do you look at things where it's actually meaningful? Because you could be like eyes down, and you go down rabbit holes, right? And where the insights are interesting, but what do I do with it? And when do I determine that something is actually worth it?
I think this sounds obvious, but I think it's missed often. To figure out what valuable data is, you need to know what valuable insights would be, right? In other words, so if the insight would be, where are my most valuable customers? That's what you want to learn. That's going to reveal the types of data that you should be looking for. So the thing to get away from, like the first step would be, get away from, here's all the metrics. Here's all of them, right? There's reach and this and clicks and traffic. It's too much, right? It's literally too many metrics, and they're all going to go one direction or the other, and they're interrelated. And so we'll take a step back and say, what are we really trying to do?
No, completely right. And this is the thing. It's like, I think for most of our clients, there is that balance between mental availability and physical availability, right? And if supply chain is doing something unexpected, how often do I really need to look at something? What could you do with that, right? But everybody wants, I think, fluidity and flexibility. And so we have to help them say, okay, well, actually, this is worth taking versus when you hold and you actually don't act upon something, but you're informed about it. The time you take to sort of lay the groundwork for teams so they're really clear about what kind of insights am I trying to look for is worth doing, because then it frees people to say, okay, now I know what I'm kind of sifting through and I can move at speed again.
I think we'd rather have a lot fewer data points in order to make way for more critical insights, which obviously is the point here. But data can be confused as insight, and data is not an insight. An insight is the why in the data, and how that why can maybe help guide a future decision.
So the way we build insights out for customers is a combination of three things, right? So we believe that you have to first apply an ethnographic approach to it. And that means being, frankly, super passionate about people. And therefore, this is the hypothesizing part. This is I have a theory about this and I want to prove it out. The second skill set or commitment you need to make in building that audience is being a disciplined desktop researcher. And so mining through the available information and the latest reports, and there's a lot of that. And then the final part is being a kind of a data enthusiast. And the marriage of the three means that you are creating a picture, but also verifying it and testing it.
I think the single most important thing that we try to do is make sure that the insights align with the organizational goals, because there are potentially lots of insights to be had, and they might not be actually helpful in furthering what we're trying to accomplish.
The number one takeaway I'd love listeners to leave this conversation with is to have confidence in moving with 50% of the information, but be better and faster in doing that.